Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Back now to the government's first day in office as Theresa May sets out her stall as she forms her new government. Her comments about one nation and fighting injustice stood out. Those were some of her words.
If you're from an ordinary working-class family, life is much harder than many people in Westminster realise. You have a job, but you don't always have job security. You have your own home, but you worry about paying the mortgage. You can just about manage, but you worry about the cost of living and getting your kids into a good school.
Her opening salvo on the steps of Number 10 yesterday, but how will they translate on the ground? Jackie Long has been talking to Mrs May's own constituents in affluent Maidenhead near Windsor and hearing from voters in the contrasting Labour seat of Rochdale in Lancashire, 200 miles away.
Her sights are set on a new Britain, but how will her message go down and can she deliver? This is home territory for Theresa May. She's been visiting this disability sports centre since she first became an MP here nearly 20 years ago.
John and Theresa have been known to dance together.
I was a pretty mean, pretty cool wheelchair dancer. I was hot.
Say so yourself.
I was hot stuff. I really was. And Theresa was fantastic on the dance floor. So I'll never forget dancing with the Prime Minister. I shall get a dinner over that, won't I, somewhere?
Both John and Jocelyn are convinced Theresa May can and will deliver on her promise to make the country a fairer place.
I was so impressed with her speech in Number 10 Downing Street last night, when she talked about the union and how dear the union was to her, not only in terms of our countries, but also the union of people, because clearly after the referendum and Brexit, we're, you know, a divided society, probably less so than it's made out actually, divided society, work to be done to bring people together.
She does she came across so well as being so sincere, and I think she really meant what she said. I don't think it was just a speech.
Cameron and Brown look a bit bland, really, don't they?
What are you going to do about Theresa May? So there's a space for the new PM, but how will Mrs May fill it? Brenda Butler has known her for years through her charity work. She voted for Mrs May at the last election, the first time she's ever voted Conservative.
No, I was brought up in a very socialist household. My parents were very much, you give what you can, you put yourself out for others.
Do you think that's why yesterday's speech resonated with you? Many people saying could have been written by a Labour leader.
It probably is why it resonated, yeah, because she was saying the sort of things I think we ought to be doing and feeling. You know, we shouldn't have inequality.
That means fighting against the burning injustice that if you're born poor, you will die on average 9 years earlier than others. If you're black, you're treated more harshly by the criminal justice system than if you're white. If you're a white working-class boy, you're less likely than anybody else in Britain to go to university. If you're at a state school...
200 miles away in Rochdale, and it's here in some of the poorest communities in the country where Mrs May's pledges are perhaps most needed, but may prove a harder sell.
I look at Rochdale now, and there's nothing in Rochdale now, nothing.
There's been a lot of false promises, but she's got to be better than the last one, because he bailed out on us, basically.
They're only interested in putting money in their back pockets, not putting money in where money should be put, in normal society.
Back at the Sportsable Club, the aim is to give everyone the same chance. The new Prime Minister says she now wants to do the same. But levelling the playing field may prove an enormous task in a country where many feel they're never on the winning side.
Jackie Long reporting there.
I've been getting